like to welcome you to the 2024 Living Way of the Cross. This evening, you will witness the story of Christ's Passion. You will see how Jesus was betrayed and abandoned by his own friends. The crowd that had just days earlier welcomed him into Jerusalem will now demand that he be crucified. You will see the pain of his mother Mary and the compassion of Veronica and Simon of Cyrene. You will be witness to his death on the cross and rejoice in his resurrection. On behalf of the St. Patrick's School 8th grade class, we welcome you to the Living Way of the Cross. The day before he suffered, he took bread in his sacred hands, and looking up to heaven, to you, his almighty Father, he gave you thanks and praise.
He broke the bread, gave it to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you."
In a similar way, when supper was ended, he took the chalice, and once more he gave you thanks and praise, gave the chalice to his disciples, and said, "Take this, all of you, and drink from it. This is the chalice of my blood, the blood of the new and eternal covenant, which will be poured out for you and for many for the forgiveness of sins.
While Jesus and his friends enjoyed supper, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, slipped away.
Judas met up with the Sanhedrin, or the clerics of the Jewish church. The Sanhedrin were very angry with the popularity that Jesus had gained. They wanted to arrest Jesus and charge him with blasphemy.
Judas told the Sanhedrin where Jesus could be found, and in return for this information, Judas was given 30 gold coins.
Judas told the Sanhedrin that the person who he kissed on the cheek would be the man they wanted to arrest. To the Garden of Gethsemane, and his disciples followed him. Jesus said to them, "All of you will have your faith shaken tonight, for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will disperse. For one will betray me tonight, and one will deny me 3 times before the cock crows twice.'" They began to recline in the warm evening. Jesus stayed there a while, and then withdrew from them, about a stone's throw, where he fell to the ground and began to pray.
Finally, he returned to his sleeping friends and said, "Could you not stay awake with me for even an hour? Be on guard and pray that you may not be put to the test. For the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Look, my betrayer is at hand.
While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12 disciples, arrived accompanied by soldiers with swords and clubs. Judas had created a signal to let the soldiers know who Jesus was. Immediately, Judas went to Jesus and kissed him on the cheek.
How could a gesture, usually reserved for affection, be used in such a cruel way? Jesus was betrayed with a single kiss.
At daybreak, they brought Jesus to the praetorium. His disciples had scattered and fled in fear. They left him alone to face Pilate.
That lonely morning, Jesus stood before Pilate, unbowed, unbroken, and unafraid.
"Are you king of the Jews?" Pilate cried.
"It is you who say so," came the reply.
The crowd cried.
Before Jesus, Pilate stood, bowed, broken, and afraid. He handed him over first to be scourged, hoping this would satisfy the crowd.
Then he washed his hands in the sight of the crowd, saying, "I am innocent of this man's blood. See to it yourselves." The soldiers, cold and knowing, whipped him. The crowd mocked him.
King of the Jews!
And he was crowned with thorns.
After ridiculing and humiliating him, the cross was ready for Jesus.
Large and heavy, edges rough, weight unbearable. That cross had stood, waiting for the unfortunate the criminal, the victim of the court.
Silently, Jesus shouldered it.
And the march began to Golgotha, the place of the skull. He struggled on painfully, quietly and alone.
Here, on Calvary's way, not yet exhausted, still alert to every pain, still quickened by the lash, tripped on a stone perhaps, or stunned by a soldier's blow, Jesus falls.
The one who keeps the whole universe on its feet falls into the dust of the earth, and not one friendly hand is outstretched to help. Jesus falls alone.
He struggles to his feet and stands, and then moves along.
Perhaps he found the strength to keep going because he caught a glimpse of a woman, his mother, her eyes just ahead in the crowd.
Mary stood there, silent and powerless. She mothered her son in his last moments, unable to touch, save with sounded eyes.
And Jesus, body torn, heart broken, fixed his eyes on his mother, comforted and comforting. No word is spoken, none is needed. Jesus meets his mother.
Strong and likely, Simon stood there, chance watcher of that strange procession on its way to Calvary. He was proud and from the country, young and insecure.
"Carry the cross," they said, word empowered by whips, lances, and numbers. And he did. He shouldered the cross and followed behind Jesus.
Jesus continued, step by step, terrified and tired.
A young maid, Veronica, put fear aside for a moment and stepped from the shadows, and with her woman's veil, touched his face and bathed his sorrows to the tempo of her tears.
And he bequeathed to her, to us, the image, not of a healthy, handsome, perfect face, but the disfigured face of a suffering servant, his signpost pointing to God's way.
He's had enough rest. The cross is thrust upon him again, brutally and still heavy with pain.
The shoulders ached, the head dripping blood, the knees began to buckle.
A whip is lashed. A hard word is spoken. A fist, a lance's blunted end, and Jesus falls again.
On the ground, that second time, the dust of discouragement covers the frame.
And yet, he moves on.
Old, worn women, weeping and leaning on each other, see Jesus struggle on. They see the terror of his eyes and the nodding of his body.
And yet, he sees their pain before his own, and he speaks. Weep not for me, but for you and your children.
passed beneath the body and seared the edges of the soul. Weariness has broken the resistance of a tough, well-trained body and overwhelmed the man.
Jesus, reaching the limit of endurance, tired beyond tired, hanging on to consciousness, falls a third time.
Bits of flesh and matted hair, clots of hardened blood, grime from the city soil, are torn from his quivering frame as Jesus is stripped of his garments.
In a moment of utter shame, he finds himself naked and defenseless. Even the price of clothing is taken from him.
Hands, which did such good, are now nailed into the cross.
Hands, which bless and heal, are now hammered, motionless.
And feet, which walked in so many areas of nature, are beaten into paralysis.
And then the cross is hurled aloft, banned in the sky, flaunted in the face of God.
Jesus is crucified. Hanging there, somewhere between heaven and earth, you speak the unspeakable.
Father, forgive. They know not what they do.
Then you face one final terrible temptation as your struggle is now with the Father.
The Father whom you felt so attached to as Son. The Father who had proclaimed to you so merciful and good. That same Father now seems to have abandoned you completely. You are on the verge of suffering the hell of God's absence as you cry out.
Now, you are totally empty before the Father, nothing left to lay hold of. By human standards, you have failed, but somehow you continue to trust, and you show us where our hope and security lies as you speak your last words. Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. It is finished.
Jesus, grade, would you come back out, please? Well, y'all, I'm going to say it again. Another fantastic job, you all. We were here this afternoon at 2 o'clock for the school, and we had a packed church, and they nailed it, and you nailed it again. As I sat and watched in the pew, I told them, I said, you know, it's in your hands now, and all I can do is watch. And all I can think about as I watched you all is truly just how proud I am of you. So I appreciate your hard work, your dedication, your commitment, your patience. So nicely done, nicely done. The students that you see in the costumes are our 8th grade students. Our 7th grade students, some were doing sound effects, some were doing lights, and some of them are behind me as our singers. And then we had some 6th graders that were singers also. I think I counted up, all total, we had 72 students participating. So that's incredible. I couldn't do this without a team of helpers, and my middle school team, I'm part of an incredible middle school team, and they were very gracious with their time when I needed to take students to have a practice, so I greatly appreciate that from them. I want to thank Mrs. Wallace for doing the programs for me, because my students know, right, students? Mrs. Wallace knows I am not tech savvy, right? So we needed her help. I want to thank Mrs. Tapey, our art teacher. She did a new clock for us this year that Veronica uses. I want to thank Mr. Eldred. He did a lot of help. Students back and forth, I'd call him and can you bring over my husband? He won't want me to mention his name, but he was my right-hand man and did a lot of running for me. I also want to thank Primo, who is back there doing our recording so that others can watch this. So we greatly appreciate that, Primo. And then I also want to recognize I have behind me, helping with our singers to help keep them on cue and all, is Mrs. Catherine McLean, a friend of mine who came and she's in our choir here at St. Pat's. Catherine this is her spring break, so she gave us a day of her spring break to be here, and so I greatly appreciate that. And then last but not least, on the piano, keeping us all together and keeping this going, Mr. Steve McCullough. I hope I got everybody and didn't miss anybody. I'm getting there. They're really good. They don't want me to forget the lights. So the students have pretty strict orders for me that I don't want to hear them, I don't want to see them, but it's now time for them to be seen. So up in the choir loft, you can stand up now, 7th grade sound effects. And then behind me, both of these are really difficult because and then in the sacristy, I have 2 students, girls who can come out, who are doing lights. And again, they're just kind of going off of cues and listening to songs, and it's not easy, right? And singers. Some of the music, I didn't even count all the number of songs, but some of them we just do a verse, and it may seem like, oh, that's pretty easy, but actually there's some pretty complicated songs in this. And so this group has just taken this music and really taken off with it. So singers, thank you. I am really super, super proud, and I think they know, and I hope they know, 8th grade, how proud I am of you, and how much I really enjoyed working with them. Yes, it was a lot of work, you all, right, but it was well worth it. For this group, this was not just about putting on a play, dressing in costume, coming out here and putting on a play. They really took to heart what this is about and understanding the passion of Christ and understanding what Christ did for us. And we talk about when they look at the crucifix, to really understand the meaning of what Christ did for us. And I could really see it in your performance. So I'm going to keep saying it. Nicely done. Fantastic job. 8th grade and all of the middle school. I want to thank everybody for coming. It means a lot to these students for all their work, to see you all here, and for their hard work. Oh, they're going to make me cry. They made me cry this afternoon because I cry easily, and I thought I'm not going to cry, but they made me cry this afternoon. You're welcome. I told them today, well, first of all, they know what I love, flowers, and I talk about popcorn and chocolate. They know me well. But I truly do love these kids. It's just, thank you, Matt. Or no, who's doing that? Guys? We do. We have a lot of fun. And I really appreciate them, and I truly enjoy working with them. So I want to thank you all again, and on behalf of St. Patrick's School and all of these students here, I want to wish you all a very happy and blessed Easter. Thank you so much. Eighth grade, remember, don't leave because we will sign the cross. It's become tradition every year we sign the cross after the performance. So, and then we hang the cross in the religion room. So we've retired one cross, and we're now on our second one, so it's pretty cool to see them hanging in the religion room.